Hi, I'm Larry Westfall. Congratulations on the purchase of your Total Gym. If you're looking to significantly change the way you look and feel, you've selected the right machine. Did you know that recent research indicates resistance training just 2 times a week can decrease body fat, increase lean muscle, which in turn will elevate your metabolism? With the Total Gym, you get a total body workout in just 10 to 15 minutes. The variety, the ease, the speed of the Total Gym makes it one of the most effective pieces of exercise equipment that you can own. This video will show you how to properly perform some of the basic exercises that you can do on the Total Gym. Once you're familiar with how to properly perform the movements, you can either follow the example workouts listed in your Total Gym flip chart or custom design your own workout. Once you progress, you can also incorporate additional exercises from your exercise booklet into your routine. Remember, varying your routine is key to continued improvement. The Total Gym comes fully assembled out of the box. Once you have your Total Gym out of the box, just lay your mat out on the floor, place your Total Gym at the end of the mat with a little bit of an opening at the hinge, and you'll start with, at the bottom of the unit, with your safety pin. We call it the safety hitch pin. You'll just pull this out, turn a little bit to the side so it'll lock into place. You want to take your handles and make sure that they're out of the way because we're going to roll the unit backwards. Put your handles in the inside, like that. Now it gives you good clearance on the floor here. Stand back up and just take your support column, and as you start to roll it forward, just lift it a little bit, grab on the under part of the rails, and just slowly bring it down, controlling the whole time the rail assembly so it doesn't just fall to the floor. Come back up to this end, go back to your safety hitch pin and let it plug back in. That locks the column into place so it doesn't tilt or fall forward. Take your handles, get them back out of the way. Okay, now we're going to change the level. Taking your level adjustment pin, just raise it to the desired level for your exercise routine that you're going to do. Plug it right into the back. Just let it roll down until it hits one of the holes that you're going to place the level at. Lock your pin into place and you're ready to go. Before you hook up your accessories, you'll need to disengage your pulley system just by placing this over the back of the rails. Now, the 2 accessories, one is the wing. The wing can go at the bottom of the unit or at the top of the unit, depending on the exercise, will be the position of the way the wing goes, either leaning back or leaning forward. You pull your detent pins out, place it on the rails, find the hole position that you want because there's 3 different hole positions, and you're ready to go. This would be performed like for the leg pull exercise. The other accessory, the leg pulley and cuff, we'll show you how to attach this later on in the video. Before you begin, make sure that you're wearing comfortable and light clothing. If you have long hair, make sure it's up and out of the way so it doesn't get on the pulley system or on the rails. The first exercise that we're going to perform is called the leg pull. This works 5 major muscle groups: the calves, the hamstrings, the hips and the thighs, and the abdominals. Now Ashley's going to get into the system here, but you want to set up your wing at the top of the unit facing the column. Okay. And you want to have your pulley disconnected from the board. Now she's lying back, just getting a nice gravitational stretch for the back. It's very relaxing and it helps you to get some circulation to the upper part of the body. As she performs this exercise, as she goes forward, she's working the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the hips and the thighs, and the abdominals. This is an excellent lower body inch loss and toning and firming exercise. As she brings her head forward, she brings not only the lower abdominal into play, but also the upper abdominal. This is really a very good lower body exercise, working almost 80% of your major muscle groups as she goes through this full range of motion. This is part of your starter and beginner program. That's great. You got it. Great. In setting up for your squat exercise, make sure that you have your pulley system disconnected and over the back of the unit and out of the way. You'll want to have your wing attachment attached at the bottom of the system, and we're going to show you how to position yourself for the first squat exercise. He'll sit in the middle of the board, and once he gets his feet stabilized, he'll just position the board so he's sitting at the very end. Now this particular exercise, you want to make sure that your hands are up on your chest and out of the way. As he goes through this range of motion, he'll work the quads, the calves, Look at the range of motion, about a 90-degree squat. His back is completely supported. Now there's different variations that you can do in this exercise. For example, you can do a one-legged squat. This doubles the resistance. If you want to do what we call a more sport-specific exercise, he can point his toes in a direction and do a lateral squat. This is great for tennis, golf, and skiing. It really works that hip area, the quads and the calves through that range of motion. So you can just alternate. You can also, by pushing your feet out and pointing out the toes, you can work the inner thighs. It's a great inch loss for inner thighs and the hips. It's a great exercise for strength, for toning and firming and inch loss. He can bring his head forward and also bring in and employ in the abdominals, both upper and lower abdominals as he goes forward here, flattening the back. You can bring in lower body exercises along with the abdominals all in one routine. The abductor exercise, one of those exercises that can really work that outer hip and thigh area, that difficult area to hit. But first off, we want to set up your total gym so you're ready to perform this exercise. This exercise, you're going to use the pulley system. So the way we'll connect that up is just lift your board, take your pulley system and put it right underneath and hook it on. And then we'll have Ashley to come in and show us how the exercise is performed. She'll grab the handles first. Now positioning is important, that you have your position that your knees are just a little bit off the edge of the board at the top. And she'll place her feet in the cables. Right on this outside cable, the inner part, she'll push out with her feet. Okay, and this really isolates this outer hip and thigh area. Look at her arms, how her arms are just relaxed. They're just holders holding the pulley handles. Sit up as straight as you can. And this, you'll really start to feel the burn in that about 15 to 20 repetitions that you're going to do. Also, the level that you're on, usually on this exercise you do lower levels of resistance because it's a tough exercise and you're working a smaller muscle group. It's a great exercise to burn off those inches on the thighs and the hips area. The adductor exercise, working and stretching that inner thigh area, a really difficult area to hit. But first we need to hook up the accessory. You'll have your leg cuff that you'll place on your foot before you begin the exercise, and then we got to hook up the pulley system. You'll have your bracket with your detent pin that you'll place at the top of the post with the little opening at the top. You'll take then your pulley system, and the key here is to have the little ring facing on the bottom, hooking your D-ring to the top of the bracket, and you're ready to go there. Then take your little ring and place it under the hook onto the board so that you have it connected. Now Ashley's going to come over and show us how to get into the system, into the accessory. Now you want to control the board. You want the board up as far as you can before you sit down. She'll sit at the very end and she'll connect up the pulley system to the side of her ankle cuff. Now it's important to stabilize the board as soon as you can by placing your foot at the bottom of the tube, at the end of the rails. With your knee bit right here, now you're ready to get some tension on the cable. As she bends her leg out, okay, she fully extends, gets some tension on the cable, then she can slowly release that lower leg by bending it up, just placing it on the end of the board. Now you can begin your range of motion very slowly, get the stretch, get a little warm up there. And look what it's doing to the inner thighs and the full stretch and the range of motion. This is an excellent exercise to lose those unwanted inches there. Okay, as she does a couple of repetitions, don't forget you'll have to do the other side once you complete this exercise. Now as she goes through the range of motion, she gets the full stretch. Now when you want to dismantle the unit, okay, she'll have to again stabilize the board by first placing her foot at the bottom and back on the cross tube. Bend your knee, get in the seated position, disconnect your pulley system, and then control the board as it rolls down. And now you're ready to work the other leg. The toe and the calf raise is excellent for shaping and sculpting the calf muscles. But before you start performing that exercise, disconnect the pulley system. At the bottom of your glide board, hook up your wing. And Brandon, let's get started on this exercise. As the wing is facing away, he'll place his feet onto the wing, position his body so his shoulders are at the top of the board. You can do it two-legged by using both legs at one time. You'll work the calves, look at the striation in the muscle groups. Just get a full range, just stretch it out. You can also do one-legged, just take one leg off and just go right into a nice stretch. A great sculpting exercise for the calves. Do your repetitions, 15 to 25. The chest press exercise is great for working the upper body, the chest, the arms, and the shoulders. And when you start this exercise, you want to be sitting at the top of the board. You want to have your pulley system hooked up and then on the desired level that you want. Now Brandon, let's start this exercise and show how it works. He's doing the 2-arm press right now. As he pushes off, look at the dynamics in the abdominals that he's holding his body weight in that position while he pushes forward. Look at the stretch as he comes back, really get that full stretch. So now he's working those front of the shoulders, the deltoids, the chest, and the triceps. You can also do unilateral work using one arm at a time. Pushing out, nice slow repetitions. The slower the repetition, the more resistance you're going to have, the longer you're going to work that muscle group. It's a great exercise for the chest area. The butterfly exercise is excellent for working the chest, the bust line, the shoulders, the biceps, and the abdominal muscles. Performing this exercise, you want to be sitting at the top of the board and have the pulley system hooked up. Now Ashley's going to do the exercise with her feet on the floor. If you're just beginning, it's a good idea to keep your feet on the floor because you can control the resistance and also control the range of motion. As she goes through the routine, she stretches. Look at the shoulder stretches she can get. She's sitting up straight. This tightens up the abdominal muscles. Placing her legs on the board will give you the most resistance on this level. She can also change the range of the motion and the plane of the motion as she comes up, keeping her palms along her side and come up. Okay, this is really good for the bust line to firm and support the bust line area. If she wants to get more chest and shoulders, she can come up out to the outside a little bit more. Great. And look at that stretch. This really maximizes your stretching. That's what's so nice about the Total Gym. Good job, Ashley. The arm pullover exercise will work the triceps, chest, and shoulders. Before you perform this exercise, you'll have the pulley system hooked up. You'll be positioned on the board where your head will be at the top of the board. Your feet about a foot off the end of the board will be where you'll be sitting. Now this exercise you can perform bilaterally with 2 arms as you come over. As Brandon's doing here, he's working again the triceps, the shoulders, the chest, and the lats all in one motion. He can even bring in his abdominal muscles if he wants by lifting his head and shoulders and coming over and really working that upper abdominal area. You can also perform this exercise unilaterally, doing one arm at a time if you want to isolate. Great. This is one of the exercises that are in your starter and beginner program. It's one of the most effective upper body exercises you can do because you're working about 80% of your major muscle groups in your upper body. Again, you should at least be able to do 15 repetitions. Good job. The seated row exercise is for defining the shoulders and the back area. To perform this exercise, you want the pulley cable hooked up and be sitting at the end of the board. Now Ashley's going to start the movement and she brings her palms in, pulling through the range. Okay, she'll bring her shoulder blades together nice and tight. This will help define that back area and the rear deltoid area. She can also have her feet a little bit off the ground. Okay, by putting her palms down, she can get more of the upper shoulder, the rear deltoid area. An excellent exercise for defining the back. Good job, Ashley. The pull-up is one of the best upper body exercises that you can do. In fact, most people can't even do a pull-up with their full body weight, but on the Total Gym it lets you because you can use a percentage of your own body weight. To perform this exercise, you'll want to have your wing attached at the top, facing down towards the board. You want to be positioned where your shoulders are a little bit above the upper part of the board. Now Brandon's going to take a close grip, going to lift his legs up, and as he stretches, he's going to go through this full range of motion, pulling his body weight up. Okay, he's working the biceps, the shoulders, the lats. Look at the nice stretch he gets. If he wants to work a little more of the lats, he can do a little wider grip. This is one of those exercises you can really feel. The front deltoid raise is a great upper shoulder exercise for the deltoids. To perform this exercise, you'll want to have your cable connected to the board, be sitting at the top of the board, have your palms back holding onto the handles. Now Ashley's going to put her feet up and legs up on the board. As she goes through the range of motion, she'll let the board roll down and let it stretch. Okay, if you notice, she's working the front of the deltoids. That's one of the 3 parts of the deltoid, the front, the side, and the back. We're covering the front part of the deltoid right now to really define that area. If you want to isolate the front of the deltoid, you can do one arm, unilateral. You can alternate, do one arm at a time. Great, that looks really good. She's doing it, really good form. The side deltoid raise works the outer and upper part of the shoulder. This is one of the 3 parts of the deltoid muscle. When performing this exercise, you'll want to have your pulley cable hooked to the top of the board. Your position will have your feet at the top, sitting back about a foot, having your head down at the end of the board. Now, as he goes through this range of motion, he'll lift just to about shoulder level, palms in, look at the back support, nice range of motion. Look at the striations in that upper part of the shoulder and top of the shoulder. This really isolates and helps sculpture that upper deltoid and side deltoid area. That's perfect, looks good. The rear deltoid raise will emphasize the back of the shoulders. You'll want to have your pulley cable hooked up, and you can either kneel or sit on this exercise. As she's kneeling right now, she's about a foot off the end of the board, okay? And she sits in the seated position. She'll start off by keeping palms in and going out to her sides. A little bit of a bend in the arms. This really hits that lower part of that deltoid, all the way up into the upper part of the deltoid and the side right here. Okay, you can perform this exercise not only just using your arms, but if you want to get a stretch, you can also lean over and bring the shoulders back, really tighten up the shoulder blades, stretch the back, and work all the deltoids all at the same time. Excellent overall upper body back exercise. The seated bicep curl is really a dynamic bicep workout. Okay, in this exercise you'll perform it with the cable hooked up. You'll be sitting at the top of the board. When you start the repetition, just lift your legs off the ground a little bit. Okay, start the bilateral movement and look at the concentration of that bicep as you go through that range of motion. You can also perform, if you want to isolate, a unilateral movement using one arm at a time. You can really see how that bicep works in this exercise. Great job. The lying curl will help you to emphasize the large bicep muscle. You'll have the pulley cable hooked up. You'll be sitting, lying on the board with your feet at the top of the board and your head at the bottom of the board. As you go through this range of motion, you'll start by lifting both hands, palms back towards your face, going through a full range of motion. Now look how she's isolating the bicep. She can't get her back involved. She can't cheat, so it really forces you to just work the bicep. You can also do a unilateral movement, doing one arm at a time, to continue to isolate that bicep. You can really feel this bicep workout. The lying tricep exercise will emphasize the side of the tricep and the back. This exercise, you'll have your pulley cable hooked up to the top of the board. Your head and your body will be lying on the board with your head at the top. Your feet on the bottom of the board. And as you start your repetition, just do a full extension. Push your palms out a little bit above your knees and your thighs. Okay, you get that full range of motion. This is one of those exercises that you can do a bilateral or unilateral movement, so you can go right into one arm and really isolating that tricep. This can give you an incredible burn because that tricep is such a small muscle group. The tricep kickback is an excellent exercise to firm and tone up the backs of the arms, the big part of the tricep. You want to have your pulley cable hooked up. You want to be kneeling at the top of the board. Okay, Ashley, let's show her how to do this exercise. As she leans over, okay, she's going to lock her elbows and then push with her palms behind and push out. Okay, palms back, great. Now look at how it really isolates that tricep. And again, you can't cheat on this exercise because you've got your elbows locked and it's all tricep. There's no shoulders, there's no back. You're really emphasizing that area. You can go into a unilateral movement where you're doing one arm at a time if you want to continue to isolate that area. The abdominal crunch exercise. This is going to emphasize with resistance the upper and lower abdominal. This exercise, you'll have the cable hooked to the top of the board. Your position, you'll have the head at the top of the board, lying with your feet at the end. Okay, we're going to perform this exercise now, Ashley. As she goes through a range of motion with resistance, depending on what level she's on, she can get more or less resistance depending on the level. She has her palms down, and she's really isolating that upper abdominal area. Look at how she's flattening her back, keeping her back flat to the board when she comes forward. Okay, and we'll want to also bring in the lower abdominal, so she can do that by lifting one leg as she comes forward. Now that brings in that lower abdominal area. So now she's working upper and lower abdominal. If she wants even more resistance in that lower abdominal, bring both legs up. Great. As you know, working the abdominal area really helps the lower back and it helps posture. So this will really help to flatten that stomach, lose those inches. You've got it, Ashley. Great. The twister. This exercise will let you work the side abs and the obliques. To perform this exercise, you'll want to have your pulley cable connected to the top of the board. You want to be seated towards the top of the board with your legs and feet pointed towards the top of the unit. And as you begin this exercise, you'll point your feet and just lift your feet off the floor, grab onto both handles, get a nice twist to work those side abs, those obliques. This is a great exercise to get your twisting motion, to lose those inches, those love handles. This is also a great sport-specific exercise. If you want to use just one handle, you can do that also and get a little bit more of a turn, a little bit more of a twist. It's good for golf, tennis, any sport where you're needing that trunk work. That looks great. Good, good, Brandon. He's got it. You've just seen how to properly perform some of the movements that you can do with the Total Gym. Remember to listen to your body. Start off at a level that is comfortable for you to gradually progress. You can find more suggestive workouts in your Total Gym flip chart. Also, as you progress, you may want to incorporate some of the additional movements that you can find in your Total Gym exercise manual. Remember, it's best to begin your routine slowly. Until your muscles and body have had a chance to warm up, select a couple of exercises like the cardio pull and the stretcher. Again, to maximize your results, vary your routine regularly. Change is the key to continued progress. Lastly, remember to eat right, drink lots of water, get plenty of rest, and if you're going to build a better body, you need the tools to do it with. Congratulations again on selecting the Total Gym and wanting to look and feel better.